here this morning? As you know, our Vacation Bible School starts tonight. How many of you are going to come to Vacation Bible School? Let's see your hands. Will come to Vacation Bible School? Very good. As you may have guessed, our Vacation Bible School tonight is talking about a train. A train. Have any of you ever been on a train before? Anybody been on a train? Sometimes you get on a train when you go to the zoo. Sometimes, sometimes they have trains at zoos. Well, you know what? Me and my family used to live in a country in Europe called Romania, and we rode on trains all the time. We rode on trains. Some of the trains were dirty. You didn't want to touch anything when you went in and sat down. But some of the trains, like this one I have pictured right here, it was really cool. That looks like a train from the future, doesn't it? Really snazzy, futuristic. Well, when you get on a train in Romania, you don't get off until you get where you're going. Sometimes we had to stay on the train all day long, for about 8 hours. We had to take our breakfast with us, and we had to take our lunch with us, and everything else we had to do on the train. Well, when we talk about the train today at Vacation Bible School, we want to imagine that the train is the church. The train is the group of people who are going to heaven. Okay? So when you look at over this group right here, everybody that's here this morning, this is the church. And during this week, we're going to use our imagination that the church is the train. And we're going to heaven. Right? So the church, there's people on the train, and the train is going to heaven. And we're calling this train the Kingdom Express. Okay? Now, the church, Christians, are those who have obeyed Jesus. And so if we want to go to heaven, we have to obey Jesus, right? And so we want to get on the train. When you grow up to be old enough to make the decision, then you want to become a member of the church to get on the train so that you can go to heaven. Okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about this week, is making good decisions that make Jesus happy, right? Okay? Let's look at something else here about the train. This is the train depot in the capital of Romania. It's called the North Station. And the North Station is huge. Look at this picture. Look at all those people that are in the North Station ready to get on a train. And their trains go to all parts of the country right there from the North Station. And when you're walking through the North Station with all those people and it's huge, you get kind of scared because you're in a strange place. And you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. But you know what? When we got there, we saw something really neat there that we recognized. Do y'all recognize that? Let me give you a close-up picture of it. Do y'all recognize that? Yes! And we saw that, we thought, we're at home. You go to anywhere in the world and there's the golden arches. You're like, I can live here. I may not be able to eat what they eat, but I can eat there. Okay? Well, life sometimes has some real hard decisions to make. Sometimes when we go through life, we don't know exactly what to do. We don't know the right decisions to make. But you know what? When we're in the world and we're confused and don't know where to go, we always have somebody with us. That's Jesus, right? Jesus is always there. Even though Jesus is in heaven, even though Jesus already traveled the train, Jesus is already in heaven, Jesus is also here with us. That's His power. Jesus can be right here with us and He can help us. Okay? Here's something else about riding on trains. This man right here is the conductor. Now tonight we're going to have some skits, and I'm going to be the conductor. Okay? I'm going to be the conductor tonight. The conductor is the one who takes the tickets. He's the one who makes sure the train leaves on time, that they're there on time. He's kind of the boss. That's why I'm the conductor tonight, so I can pretend like I'm the boss. It's the only way I get to be the boss, is to pretend. Well, if we're talking about the church, then the boss, of course, is God. God is the boss. God is the one who began everything at the beginning, and He's the one who's going to see everything all the way through to the end. God is the boss who tells us how we need to live if we want to go to heaven, right? We have to listen to God. Well, there's somebody else. There's somebody who drives the train. Okay? And the one who drives the train is called the engineer. Okay? The engineer, he's the boss of the train. He's the one that gets to drive the train. Anybody would like to drive a train sometime? That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it, boys? Be able to drive that train. Well, this engineer in the church, the engineer, of course, is Jesus. Jesus is the one who is the head of the church. He's the one who really tells us how we need to live, what we need to do if we want to become members of the church. He's the one that tells us how we need to live to go to heaven. Okay? So Jesus is the engineer on this train going to heaven. Okay? Now, one more thing. This is a picture of a train ticket. And we got to use lots of train tickets in Romania. Now, the first train tickets we used over there was a little piece of cardboard. Real thick cardboard. That's about that big, Brucey. Just a little bit bigger than a stamp. And the conductor, we got on the train, the conductor would come through and he'd punch a hole in that cardboard to show that we had the ticket and we could be on that train. But then they got sophisticated. They got computers and we started getting these kind of tickets right here. And they would come through and they would look at the ticket and say, okay, you've got the ticket, you're on the right train, going to the right destination, and you can stay on the train. Now, if we want to get on the train going to heaven, then we have to have the right ticket. And the right ticket is actually what Jesus tells us to do, right? Jesus tells us if you want to go to heaven, you have to do certain things. Like you have to believe in Jesus, and you have to be baptized, and you have to worship, and you need to study your Bible and pray and things like that. So if we want to go to heaven, we've got to do what Jesus says. And the ticket to us going to heaven is doing what Jesus says. Okay? So when Jesus says something, we read it in the Bible, we say, okay, I believe that. Now Jesus paid the price for the ticket. You know where He paid the price for the ticket? When He went to the cross, wasn't it? Jesus paid for the ticket with His blood by dying on the cross. But then He gives us the ticket, but then we have to do something with it. We have to give it back to Him. You have to give it to the conductor. And when we give it to the conductor, that's us doing what Jesus said to do. So Jesus says, I'll pay the price for the ticket. Now you do what I tell you to do. And then we get on that train. We get to go to heaven. Okay, so I want y'all to remember that tonight when you come back to Vacation Bible School, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night, that when we're talking about getting on this train to Kingdom Express and going to heaven, we're talking about becoming members of Christ's church and making those wise decisions. Okay? Now, you're going to be here tonight for Vacation Bible School 6 o'clock. How many of you are going to bring a friend with you? Okay, I want you to bring a friend with you tonight. Call them on the phone and say, I want you to come to Vacation Bible School with me tonight. Even if you have to call to Japan, I want you to call your friends, okay? You go home this afternoon and say, Mom, I've got a friend in Argentina. I need to call and bring them to Vacation Bible School. Okay? All right, y'all can go back to your seat, and I'll see if I can get these adults to listen as well as y'all did.